Howdy folks, Little John and another episode of Brew School, and today we are washing yeast, or rinsing yeast, depends how you want to look at it. It's all the same thing, but done a previous video on reusing yeast, which is just taking the yeast from your batch and reusing it on the follow-up batch. We talked about washing yeast, and what we're doing with washing yeast is we're taking that yeast and we're cleaning it, so we've only got yeast and we're getting it away from trub, so we can store it for a longer period, so we can use it down the track. Plenty of brewers are using the same yeast beer after beer. If you're a bit like me, you're doing different stuff, and you need a little bit of time between each one. So first thing I want to do is I want to get all the beer off the last batch. So this is the batch I bottled yesterday. This was a golden ale, and I've used a White Labs European ale yeast on this. Never used it before, and well, I wouldn't mind keeping this so I can use it again in the future. So I want to get all the beer off this juice cake. Now it's not a big juice cake, this is only a 13 litre batch, but it's certainly enough to do what we need to do today. That's got pretty much all that excess old beer off there. We'll get rid of that. So that should leave me pretty much just fairly clean yeast cake in there. Now, you want yourself a couple of jars. Ideally, you want 4 or 5. It's not a, so you need a few jars. What I like to collect the Makona coffee jars. They're good. They seal. They're a good size. And the thing I like about them with the push top, if you do happen to get a yeast that wants to keep fermenting in the fridge, it'll just pop that seal off and release the pressure without letting anything in. And you're not going to have, you're not going to take a risk of something blowing up. It's very, very rare that something like that would happen. But with some lager yeast particularly, they will still be active at 3 and 4 degrees. So even in the fridge, they can still be ticking away very slowly, and they can cause a bit of an incident. So what I have, I've got 3 jars, 3 big jars, and they've all got cooled boiled water in them, been sanitised. And I've got a smaller jar. This will be my final jar, which I'll actually use to store this yeast in, and it's got water in it as well. One thing you really need for washing yeast is you need plenty of water. You need a good water to trub ratio. So what I want to do with these is get most of that into the fermenter. Don't want all of it in. And then mix that yeast and water together. Just the same as we did in the video where we were reusing the yeast. Okay, and what I want to do is I want to transfer what will now be a thinner yeast into the jars. And just run it through the tap. Now, give your tap a good spray with sanitizer before you do this, just to be make sure there's no bugs and stuff on there. At this point you do need to be fairly clean for obvious reasons. You get a bug in this now, and this yeast will be no good when you come to use it in 3 or 6 months' time. Potentially kill the brew, or even just waste the yeast. That's in there, so I'm going to get a bit more out of it. So both bottles now have got a quite thin solution of yeast and water. You can pop just a little bit more in there. And I'll pop the lid back on these. All I want to do is just give these a swirl, get everything into suspension, everything moving around, and then just let it sit. And we will now let that sit. It will take anywhere from 8 to 15 minutes, and what you will find will happen is the heavier trub will start to drop out first. So as the trub drops out, you'll get your lighter yeast will be floating around in suspension in that water, and this is why you need lots of water so you can get the separation. If you don't have enough water, you just end up the trub will all just settle together. You need to be able to get it out, and you'll watch it and you'll see the clear layer will start to spread from the top, and you'll see the trub settling down. And then what we'll do is we'll pour that off. So we'll let that sit now, and we'll come back once we've got some that bit of separation, and we'll do the next step. Righto folks, it's been about 20 minutes since we got these jars sitting. Now we're starting to develop a layer of trub on the bottom. Now I don't know if you're going to really be able to see, it's hard to see, but it's about there. You can see it's a darker level at the bottom. You can see when you look at it, you can actually see it's going to be hard, it's not going to really show up on the video, I know that. So what we want to do now is we want to pour off this liquid at the top, because this is where our yeast is, and get rid of and leave the trub behind. So what we'll do is we'll put these two jars into the one jar. So all you got to do is just gently pour it off whilst leaving the trub behind. I'm trying to stir it up too much. And as you go, you can see where it is. It's much darker. Well, I've got more than half a jar there. That's alright. But you can see there the trub that's left behind, and that's much darker than there. And what I'm going to do is, you'll see the clear layer where it's actually dropped out. I'll pour a bit of that off separately. Fill that. Lid back on there. And again, with our new jar, give it a good swirl, and we'll now let that sit again for that 10-15 minutes. Let whatever trub is in there settle out. So the jar that I didn't actually get everything out of, just going to pop a bit more water in there. And we'll let it go again.